Have you ever wondered why some places in the UK have absolutely ridiculous names? Well, buckle up because we're about to take you on a comedy tour of Britain's most hilariously named locations. Today, we're counting down the 23 funniest place names in the UK, and I guarantee you'll be laughing by the end of this video. Before we delve in, make sure you're subscribed because it really does help the channel grow and lets me keep making more videos like this. By subscribing, you're telling YouTube you actually enjoy this kind of content, which means it's more likely to recommend my videos to new viewers and gives me a better chance to put more time, research, and editing into future episodes. And if you've just clicked on this randomly from your feed, you might see other videos from the channel pop up now and then. But without subscribing and turning on notifications, you won't always know when something new drops, so hitting subscribe. And the bell means you'll be first to hear about future uploads just like this one. Let's go. Coming in at number 23, we have Scratchy Bottom in Dorset. And yes, it's real. This clifftop valley sits near Durdledore on the Dorset coast and was actually voted second in a 2012 poll by genealogy website Find My Past for Britain's worst place name. The origin of the name is somewhat mysterious, though bottom comes from Old English, meaning a valley or hollow. Scratchy Bottom is notable enough to have featured in the 1967 film adaptation of Thomas Hardy's Far from the Madding Crowd. At number 22, we have Shitterton. And yes, it's every bit as ridiculous as it sounds. This Dorset hamlet actually topped the 2012 poll as Britain's most unfortunate place name. Now, before you cringe, the name actually derives from the Old English scitere, meaning sewer or a stream used as an open sewer, combined with ton, a village or farmstead. So it literally means the place by the sewer. Not exactly charming, but historically accurate. The name became even more infamous in 2010 when frustrated residents, tired of pranksters constantly stealing their town sign, pooled their resources to install a permanent 1.5-ton stone version set in concrete, costing £680. Number 21 takes us north of the border to Twatt in Orkney, Scotland. And yes, it's delightfully located in the Shetland Islands. The name comes from the Old Norse word thwaite, meaning a small clearing or piece of land. Honestly, the locals seem largely unfazed by the name and continue to embrace their heritage. Fair play to them. Coming in at number 20 is Nether Wallop in Hampshire, a village that sounds like it's describing a physical consequence. This Hampshire village sits on the banks of Wallop Brook and was referred to as Wallop Inferior in the Domesday Book. The name Wallop comes from old words for stream, whaler, and valley, hop. Nether means lower, referring to its position as the most southerly of 3 wallops in the area. Rather than suggesting physical punishment, Nether Wallop roughly translates to the lower village in the valley with the spring, though I'm sure the name has caused more than a few raised eyebrows over the centuries. Number 19 brings us to Brown Willy in Cornwall. Located on Bodmin Moor, it's the highest point in the area at 420 metres above sea level, though surprisingly small compared to its ominous name. The name comes from the old Cornish phrase meaning Hill of Swallows. Locals have resisted several attempts to change the name to the original Cornish Brown Willy, with campaigners famously saying, "Hands off our Willy." I respect that level of commitment to preserving local heritage. At number 18, we have Cox, another Cornish location near Perranporth that has become famous for its unfortunate name, and residents report that visitors regularly steal the sign. The name actually derives from Old English meaning heaps or hillocks, Cox, with the area being particularly hilly. There's even a nearby Cox Hill demonstrating how historical place names sometimes repeat themselves when new waves of invaders didn't understand the previous occupier's language. I guess some things never change. Number 17 is Dull in Perth and Kinross, Scotland. Now, despite its underwhelming name, Dull became a global phenomenon when it was twinned with Boring, Oregon in 2012. This little Scottish Highland town with a population of just 84 proved it had a good eye for publicity, celebrating Boring and Dull Day on the 9th of August. And here's where it gets even better. The twinning was so successful that in 2013, Bland, Australia joined in, creating what's now known as the Trinity of Tedious. So you've got 3 places literally named after their lack of excitement, all celebrating each other. Now that's what I call ironic brilliance. Coming in at number 16, we have Once Brewed and Twice Brewed, a tiny hamlet along Hadrian's Wall in Northumberland, consisting of an inn, youth hostel, a few cottages, and a postbox. If you are arriving from the east, you will see a place name sign reading "Once Brewed," while those coming from the west will see "Twice Brewed." According to one story, 18th century farmers brewed very weak ale, so visitors to the Twice Brewed Inn knew they'd get a proper strong one. Another tale speaks of thirsty workmen demanding their ale be brewed a second time to make it stronger. The most likely origin, however, comes from the brows of two large hills that overlook the inn. Either way, it's the kind of place name that immediately makes you want to visit. Number 15 features these distinctive fell names in the Lake District. Great Cockup is the higher of the two at 526 metres, 1,726 feet, while Little Cockup stands at 502 metres, 1,647 feet. They're located in the Northern Fells, part of the Skiddaw group. Despite their unfortunate title, the most likely explanation is rooted in Old English, translating to blind valley frequented by wild birds, making them simply peaceful havens for feathered friends, rather than sites of monumental blunders. So, if you're planning a hiking trip, you can tell people you scaled the Cockups in the most innocent way possible. At number 14, we have Indian Queens in Cornwall, a place with a genuinely mysterious origin story. The identity of the original Indian queen remains a mystery. An inscription on a local inn demolished in the 1960s may have provided the answer, though legend suggests she was a Portuguese princess visiting in the 18th century, whose darker complexion led locals to believe she was an American native Indian. At the end of the 18th century, a signboard displayed an American native Indian on one side and Queen Victoria on the other. Despite zero historical evidence, locals also claim the town was named after Pocahontas, and there's even a Pocahontas Crescent Street in the town today. So essentially, this place has a completely fabricated history that everyone's chosen to believe anyway. I kind of love it. Number 13 is Rest and Be Thankful in Argyll and Bute, Scotland. This scenic location is the highest point at 246 metres of the A83 road near Loch Lomond. For centuries, travellers on this 160-kilometre-long Highland route would stop here to rest and be thankful for the breathtaking scenery before them. A stone with these exact words was erected in the mid-18th century to commemorate this viewpoint after soldiers originally built the road in the 1750s. Honestly, this one's more poetic than funny. It's genuinely lovely. Coming in at number 12 is Pity Me in Durham. Now, the origins of this name are lost in the mists of time, but according to the Oxford Dictionary of British Place Names, it was considered a desolate, exposed or difficult to cultivate place in the 19th century. Others believe it derives from the Norman Petite Mer, meaning little sea, but locals prefer the colourful story that St Cuthbert cried, "Pity me," when monks accidentally dropped his coffin there on their way to Durham. So whether it's genuinely a miserable place or the result of a religious mishap, Pity Me certainly lives up to its name. Number 11 takes us to Pratts Bottom in Greater London, located in the London borough of Bromley. This village's name derives from the Pratt family who lived in the area in the 14th century, with bottom simply meaning a valley or hollow. What's interesting is that prior to the 19th century, it was even on a toll road between London and Hastings, frequented by smugglers and highwaymen, with Dick Turpin himself rumoured to be a patron of the local pub. So while the name might sound suggestive now, it's got a genuinely wild history. At number 10 we have Fingeringhoe in Essex, and yes, it's very snigger-worthy in its modern pronunciation, but it's actually a historic village just south of Colchester with a fascinating etymology. The name's origin is linguistic rather than crude. Finger means finger, referring to a finger of land jutting out. Ing, Old English ingus, refers to the people of a location, and ho or ho means a heel or protruding piece of land. The village features traditional ponds and an old red telephone box. Nearby is the Essex Wildlife Trust's Fingeringhoe Wick Visitor Centre, a 200-acre nature reserve on the River Colne. So you can visit this hilariously named place and actually do something productive while you're there. Number 9 brings us to Sandy Balls in Hampshire, a 120-acre expanse of wood and parkland on the edge of the New Forest, home to a popular holiday centre. Despite its suggestive name, it's nowhere near a beach. The name dates back to the reign of King Henry VII, when sandy ballast, domed sand and gravel outcrops, were first mapped as valuable geological resources. So it's literally just describing lumps of sand and rock. Geography isn't always glamorous. Coming in at number 8 is Lickey End in Worcestershire, located near the beautiful Lickey Hills. This village's name likely has historical roots connected to the nearby hills, which are known for their natural beauty and recreational opportunities. It's a relatively straightforward name compared to some of the others on this list. Number 7 is Wetwang in the East Riding of Yorkshire. This Yorkshire village is famous partly because it features in a local commercial radio station's jingle. It appeared in the Doomsday Book as Wetwang. Two theories explain the name. It may derive from the Old Norse Wetwanga, describing a field for legal trials, or it simply means wet field, in opposition to the nearby dry field, Driffield. Either way, if you've got a field that's perpetually damp, you might as well name it honestly. At number 6, we have Titty Hill in Sussex, a tiny hamlet that lies in the South Downs National Park, a few miles north of Chichester, and sits on the 65-mile-long Serpent Trail between Hazelmere and Petersfield. The reason for its unusual name is hidden in the mists of time, with no documented explanation of its origins. So essentially, nobody knows why it's called that, which only makes it funnier. Number 5 takes us to Thong in Gravesend, Kent, a tiny hamlet near Gravesend with around 500 residents. Thong is literally very small, rather like its namesake Garment. There's not much to say about this diminutive settlement, but it remains a genuinely peculiar place name. The joke basically writes itself. Coming in at number 4 is Penistone in South Yorkshire. This beautiful market town in the Yorkshire moors is pronounced Penistone, which is a relief. The name likely comes from Celtic words meaning hill and stone, making it a rather unarousing explanation compared to the modern interpretation. The town is famous for its rugged breed of sheep called the white-faced woodland, so if you're ever visiting Yorkshire, you can tell people you went to Penistone. Just remember the correct pronunciation. Number 3 is Crapstone in Devon, situated on the edge of Dartmoor. Crapstone was named after a wealthy family who once lived there, so despite its unfortunate modern connotations, the name has legitimate historical roots. The village has been home to notable residents including writer Christopher Hitchens, singer Michael Ball and children's author Emma Smith, so you've got a place with a terrible name that somehow attracted genuinely impressive people. At number 2 we have Cockermouth in Cumbria, a historic market town with 800 years of history sitting on the edge of the Lake District. It was the birthplace of poet William Wordsworth and Fletcher Christian, of the Mutiny on the Bounty fame. The name comes from the River Cocker, which flows into the Derwent at this point, literally where the Cocker's Mouth is located. So it's a legitimate geographical name that just happens to sound absolutely hilarious to modern ears. And finally, at number 1, the funniest UK place name, we have Giggleswick in North Yorkshire. Located in Staincliffe, Giggleswick has a charming etymology. The name means dwelling of a man called Gickle or Gishel, deriving from a person's name plus the Old English wick, a dwelling or farm. Despite its amusing modern sound, it's simply a settlement named after an early landowner. But honestly, what better place to top this list? A place literally called Giggleswick is the perfect way to end our countdown. And there you have it, 23 of the funniest place names in the UK. From Scratchy Bottom to Giggleswick, Britain's got a seriously amazing collection of hilariously named locations. Each one has its own unique story, and honestly, the historical origins are often way more interesting than the names themselves. Let me know in the comments which name was your favourite, and share any other funny or unusual place names you've come across and where they are in the world. They might end up in a future video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell icon to be notified of our next upload. Until then, as ever, stay curious.